Hey, buddy.
Oh.
Wait, Nubs, can you elbow Odd One from where you are? You're in front, right? Ooh. What's going on?
All right, we gotta stop.
I think he had too much to drink. He had too much to drink, I think.
Nubs
elbow
is,
Odd One.
Nubs is, look at that. Knock him out.
Yeah.
Poof.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, here we go.
Enough.
Oh my god. What
Yeah.
happens when you don't sleep? All right, here we go. Everybody shut up. Welcome, I'm the DeadwoodJedi. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm here with three hilarious people. We've got Nub, we've got OddOneGaming, and we've got YST here in the house. And they just won't stop goofing off with the camera stuff here. But anyway, basically what we're doing, guys, is we're here to talk about the Hydra tournament. Obviously, we just finished round 1. We have round 2 starting tomorrow. So I should be putting this video out in like an hour or two here. And so you guys will be seeing this a day before the Hydra tournament goes live. And I want to let you know, the round 2, it's going to be at 3 p.m. UTC on Monday. So tomorrow, the 21st, I believe that is, 3 p.m. UTC. So that's going to be round 2. We've got HellHades versus Nub. We've got YST versus Skratch. It should be very exciting. All 4 of them put up some really strong teams. They weeded out the weak links from the competition. And so with that out of the way, it should be really exciting, I think, going forward here. We were able to give out a bunch of rewards as well, legendary books, chickens, that sort of thing. We're going to be doing more of that for sure tomorrow. And I think we're going to be giving away all that and probably some gems for the finals on Thursday, which I believe also will be at 3 p.m. UTC. The potential for that needing to be updated, but I think that's going to be the time frame for both of those. So very exciting all the way around. But
Ooh.
we have the boys here, and I really wanted to start things off because I want to cover, what we've gone through, the different rounds we've done, what we're looking at in the future, and how this might affect, not only our own teams, but the advice that we give you guys when we talk about building these Hydra teams going forward. So first off, I just want to get like general appeal from you guys. How did you feel about the other teams that you were seeing, the round 1 competition so far? How are you feeling about it? How was that?
Oh, I guess I'll jump in and I'll start off and say,
thanks.
like, I think definitely MTGJedi's team was the one that I think not only impressed me, but impressed like almost everyone, it seems like, in terms of, just coming in and absolutely smashing out a massive damage number. And I think he was the lowest on the voting in the actual poll. So he was the lowest seeded and it's turned out to be one of the absolute best teams. It could be second best. We'll see how it ends, like how the tournament ends. But absolutely insane performance from him. Like that was a really cool team and kind of showed everyone. It was like, hey, you totally underestimated what I could do here. So
yeah, he put up some really big numbers. That was very impressive for sure.
It was funny that it was the first run as well, and he wasn't sure. He was kind of feeling like, oh, my run's not good enough because he was up against Skratch. I was watching, like, I wasn't even on that stream, and I was watching, go like, dude, that's a pretty good run, I have to say. Oh man,
really nice. It was really nice.
Yeah, I remember seeing you that was sweating there. I was sweating myself, like, bro, really, what's that? That's not good. 140 million plus, not good.
I mean, I barely one keyed as it was. And I think that's where I was like, let's get to that level and then we'll worry about anything else past that. He's putting up 140 million or something ridiculous. Yeah. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. But I mean, YST, you put up a pretty strong showing yourself with your squad. I think you had the number 3 total out of everybody.
Yeah, I had to cut mine off early, so I don't.
Oh, that's right. You cut yours off early.
Yeah, I didn't want to spoil anything for like the semi-final and maybe try and push the limits for that. So we'll see how it goes. Am I going to beat Skratch? I don't know, man. I highly doubt it, but I'll try to showcase my team the best way I can, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you did. I think everybody was pretty impressed with the kind of squad you did. One of the things that I found really interesting was pretty much everybody had like slightly different variations on how to go about taking down Hydra, which I think is, one of the best things from this actually is understanding that there's no one way that you have to do it. There are actually multiple avenues to this. Nub, I think you probably have as good a handle as anybody on the different types of Hydra strategies going in. Maybe you can give us a quick overview of some of the things that you saw that maybe you weren't expecting to see, or that you really latched onto. Is like, oh, that was a cool approach.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, definitely, I think the broadest things that I wasn't expecting that actually worked out fine for people was they're kind of just able to overpower the bad RNG, which is something that you'd love to be able to do. Like for me, when I'm building a Hydra team, it's often when you've got every champion available, obviously limited by what you have on your account, you're trying to build a team that covers everything. For a lot of these teams, they weren't able to cover everything. So, for example, let's say like Skratch had the best score, but like for his team, he did not have like a perfect mischief tank. He did not have a perfect veil coverage. Like he was going to get true feared sometimes and stuff mess it up. But it was like being able to play around that and design around that. Like that was something that really surprised me, that it wouldn't kind of trip people up more than it did. Yeah. So I think both him and MTG actually, especially those two teams, really had a good time playing around it. And Cold Brew was the opposite, where Cold Brew, all the bad things that could possibly happen during the run happened to Cold Brew, and none of his strats to play around it worked out. So it was sort of the two sides of that coin. I was expecting more stuff like what happened to Cold Brew, maybe not that unlucky, but more on the bad side of luck. But like, no, people were able to play around it more than I thought. That was a surprise to me. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was shocked that the RNG didn't hurt. Only really hurt two of us, myself and Cold Brew. Everybody else seemed to be able to adjust pretty handily to that. I don't know. Oddone, did you have any thoughts on that? Like, there's just the different strategies that people were using and stuff.
I mean, I think it was a case of different strategies. Like Nub said, some people just did not have champions to cover some roles, such as like Torment. Not everybody had like a perfect Torment, counter in there, but still they managed to work around it. And when it comes to the RNG, one thing that I've learned, through playing a lot of this and testing like a maniac Hydra myself, is the fact that in a way you can kind of control the RNG of the Hydra. If you have enough people that bring complex enough kit, you can kind of control it. Like especially like as an example, like I said with my team. If you don't have enough DPS, if you only have one or two champions as DPS and, they cannot free your champion, having some support on the side that can also help with, doing that little bit of damage, or having everything balanced can go a long way. That's how I usually try to either make my teams or suggest people to build the teams where they don't have all the top tier legendaries for nukers or all the top support, Just try and get the balance for your support and for your damage, and that's gonna be the best way to go around. And when it came to this one, there was some impressive stuff happening in there. Like, I did not expect. The thing that shocked me the most from these fights was how bad it went for Cold Brew, in a sense of like I expected that to be the third best team, honestly.
Yeah,
because the team itself looks so strong. And it's like the RNG was so bad, and like I did not expect that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was really.
Oh, go on.
So I was gonna say I was really excited to see Cold Brew's potential of his team. It was like one of the ones that I said vocally in all my videos. Like everybody's underestimating him in the poll system, and even though it cut off short, he did show the potential towards the end. And it was well over 100 million team. It was very, very interesting, man. Like, I don't know. It was really, because I wanted to have that neck and neck battle, right? It's like so close, like, oh, who's gonna win? I was looking at it, I was like, no, his bad RNG just happened. I kind of just wished he could have rerun the whole thing, but it happened.
One of the things that I've found that I was kind of surprised by, to be honest with you, something like you always run into, but you never really think about it, is the block buffs and the stealing of buffs, right? These are the two things that I think really become, like, once you get into it, those are the things that will derail your run the most. If the enemy steals your buffs and then starts spreading them, and then you're like stuck, right? And they start throwing things like Poison Cloud, and you don't get your Provoke out there, and then everything kind of snowballs from that. One of the things that I noticed from my team was, even though I was able to get a lot of debuffs out there with Cantra, with Lady Kimmy, once the buffs got stolen, it became very hard to actually take those off again. Right. And so the wrong champion gets eaten, and all of a sudden then they're gone. Or, little things can really throw that all off. And I felt like the same thing happened with Cold Brew, where all of a sudden his buffs got stolen, and now he doesn't have any way in his kit to be able to steal them back. and all of a sudden now he's completely stuck, and it all snowballs downhill from there. But it's kind of an interesting thing of like, you need some way to take them off, just like you need some way to prevent them from coming on.
Yeah.
So
You know what was an interesting thing with his team? If you can click it again.
Yeah.
So what I was looking at when he built it is like, okay, even if he has the bad RNG of buffs getting stolen, he had Tila that can steal them back from the A1, but he also has Mashaled that can do it on the A3. I'm not sure if I don't know, maybe he didn't have the bad RNG while he was doing it, and he didn't have buff stolen, but Mashaled was really, really good. Like, honestly, if I was there, I would have not swapped Mashaled for Torvald, because that A3 could have helped.
All right, I will point this out, and I think you bring up a really good point, right? And I feel like this is kind of one of the fallacies with this, at least for me. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, this was one of the fallacies. Is yes, being able to have one champion with an A1 that can steal buffs is nice, but what I ran into, I had 3 of those champions, right? I had Kantra, who can steal buffs. I had Lady Kimmy, who actually has an AoE buff strip, right? And I had Geomancer, who can steal buffs. The problem is, for me, the Head of Mischief stole my buffs. And at that point, I was done, because unless I had Hex up, which of course you don't, because of course you don't.
Yeah.
When RNG goes bad, it all goes bad, and now you can't target that head, So like for me, I know for me, I was really missing that Uko, right? It was really like a perfect champion to kind of have in here who can strip all those buffs as an AoE kind of approach. Would have been really, really nice for my team. I got messed up, just RNG wise, but having that AoE buff stripper, I think, is something that goes a little bit underrated. It's not to say that everybody has champions like that. Like, I don't even know. I know MTG had Uko. I don't even know if you had anybody odd one that could do that. But like, you had Solus, right? For example,
Solus, they can do it on the A2. Like, he can do like one target, and then the other 2 can go in the same spot or can spread. So that was a little bit of my backup in case, as we saw that my Deliana did not land the block balls like 80% of the time.
So this is why I was surprised that nobody chose Mishinaki as their first pick. I was shocked because he removes buffs, he places Hex, he does burns, he does DPS, drop defense, drop attack. It's like, I was so shocked. Like, you guys just left him on the table there for me, chilling.
That surprised me too.
Thanks YSC for pointing out my mistakes out for me constantly. Like, I had instant regret when you picked him, and I was just like, oh, I should have taken him. He was the one I wanted the most, and messed that up.
This is the thing, like, champions like Royal Guard are really good, right? But I felt like for a first pick draft, you need to choose someone that's versatile, not just a one-trick pony nuker. That's just kind of how I felt anyway. Like, and this is where someone like Mishinaki plays the role of so many champions. And when you got 8 people in a draft, you need to be choosing champs that's got multiple roles, right? So,
yep.
And then if they're available later, like a Royal Guard or a Husk, then obviously, but. I was happy when you said Royal Guard. I was like, oh, happy days. Let's go.
That's fine. That's why I did it. Oh, I just need to get this knife out real quick. Yeah, you're right. I think absolutely. I mean, 100% though. That was like easily, like, as soon as you picked Mishinaki, I knew I made a mistake. Right? Like, one of the things I like about Royal Guard is Royal Guard actually does have some versatility. Has that decreased speed, that decreased defense, right? And I build mine with accuracy, just like a Husk has a provoke on the A1. But obviously, instantly I knew, Mishinaki brings so much more versatility to a team, right? And that's one of the things, I don't know about you guys, but one of the things I totally underestimated until I got into it was how powerful Hex is. And that is like one of the most valuable, and like, not for the mischief head. Like, I don't care about the mischief head. Just pure damage wise, the way it spreads that damage around is so valuable. I had really no idea until I got into it this time. I don't know if you guys, was there anything that kind of jumped out to you guys where you're like, oh, that's not, maybe I didn't take that into account as much as I had previously, or maybe you're all pros and experts at this and I'm just the rookie here. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of one that really took me away. Like, I kind of expected a lot of damage from the Taras and the Trunda. Any other roles that I would have considered maybe?
I mean, I was shocked by, maybe because I didn't play a lot with the Sisia, but I was shocked on how much damage the Sisia did. Again, because like the Sisia is like, okay, I thought she was going to be okay. She's going to do good damage. She's going to do, the decreased defense in the weekend, but the damage overall, she was in my team.
There we go.
Yeah.
But it's like the damage that she actually did. I'm not gonna lie, that's gonna make me rethink my brutal team on my main account. I think she's gonna come in because she brings so much. The only thing, like for my team at least, was my slight problem was I did not have anybody else that did decrease defense or weaken. Like everything was on Sisia. So when Sisia was eaten, that was my biggest problem. I did not have I had the damage, but without decreased defense and weaken, it was just not enough.
Can I ask, did you prioritize her A3 or her A2?
I was always looking at how many birds. Like you saw how concentrated I was during the stream. Like, I was in my zone. Don't talk to me. Don't disturb me. Right. But I was always looking on how many birds were out there, because the way that she does her decreased defense and weaken is there has to be at least 2 HP burns out there. There's not 2. She only does a weaken. So at the same time, if I saw that I had, if I saw that the HP burns were already out there and they were like 3-4 turns because I extended them with her A1 or with Solus's A3, I obviously had to constantly do the A2, which obviously was better. Constantly exploding the poisons brings me damage. But if I had 3 burns out there, I would prioritize, or even 2, I would prioritize the A2. If not, obviously I kept going with the A3.
Yeah, odd one. Me and Nubs were actually wondering, right, if you was to choose, because if you was to hypothetically beat Nubs, who was you going to choose for the next round?
It's let's go at his team again and let me have a look.
Yeah.
So
who
honestly,
chose to increase your damage here?
I would have had to have a look. I have a chat with Deadwood, because I did not understand the thing about the swapping afterwards. What was like?
So it's like you steal a champion and then you can put it for one of your options instead. So you get like an extra swap basically. So you can swap out one of yours that's in your team for someone that's in Nubs' team.
So basically, instead of having 6 champions you drafted, it would be like you had drafted 7, and you can
swap them around. Yeah,
it's tricky, but my thing would have been Ugo maybe instead of the Deliana. Or I would have gone for Ninja for more damage and maybe drop. Or the choice is like, who do I drop? That was the tricky thing.
What was your MVP damage in this behind the scenes? Like, what's the numbers that you reached at the top when you were testing?
Honestly, I swapped so much. I hit over 100 million like as the best, and then I kept testing because what I wanted to go for was reliability. I had runs with Ruel. Where in like 7 minutes I had 40 million damage or something like that. But then all of a sudden everything fell apart. So it's like I did not want to go for RNG. I just went for reliability. My goal was to hit around 100 million or more, If I win, fine. If not, it is what it is, but at least I put up a good fight.
You did that.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you because you're talking about Sisia. I actually been running Sisia in my brutal team pretty regularly. I just run stuff full auto, right? I don't mess around. But I pair her with Walking Tomb Drang. So I get the HP burns, and then I pretty much only use Sisia's A2. And I just don't bother.
And then I took Walking Tomb Drang out of my team.
It's that synergy of champions, right? Like what works well with each other. This is not like the best team in the world, but just like give you an example of like, you're right with Sisia. She's really strong. But it's that, and for me, I find that A2 to be the really strong part, and then the A3 kind of, it's great, but especially when the torment heads out there, it can be a little problematic as far as fearing yourself and getting yourself into trouble a little bit.
I'm curious how she would pair with my Supreme Gaelic. That's something I could try.
There you go.
That could be something really interesting.
You should definitely do a video though, guys, of like steal your ideal champion off the even if that was my plan anyway. I was like, okay, if OddOne smashes me, I still want to do a video stealing the champ off his team and see how my team would improve, how it would change. And I think it's quite interesting for people watching as well to be like, oh yeah, okay, if I put this champion into my team instead, this is what it would do for me,
Yeah, that's what I was asking OddOne there as well. It's like it'd be interesting to see if you put a champion that you felt would change your thing, to see what you would have got in round 2 as a video. It would just be cool to see, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that. It's just I started going off track and I wanted to test what I can do my best on Nightmare. Okay. I was trying to go for a record, see if I can hit 200 million with my ideal champs with the Supreme Gaelic, Michinaki in there, and all the good ones.
You should be able to with those, surely. That's scary. Supreme Gaelic Michinaki? That seems very strong.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that video.
Well, I think
that's what I was testing.
How do you see this semi-final going? What kind of numbers are you expecting?
Who you ask?
Like anyone in general.
Ooh.
I would imagine that
Okay.
we're gonna see some long runs. I think if everybody thought round 1 was long, I think you might be in for a treat. I think round 2 is gonna be a little bit, maybe not a treat. Round 2 is probably gonna be a little bit longer, a little earlier in the day, so it might be a little easier to.
It'll be easier,
Yeah.
But and you know what? Maybe we'll take a like a break in between some of the fights too. That might make some sense as well. But I thought it was really good. I think it'll be really good, right? I think we're gonna see some. I think every team's gonna be going for 100 million plus. Probably a couple teams. I think the YST scratch side of things, we're gonna see a couple 200 million plus runs is my guess. On the other side with Nub and Hades, I would imagine that score Nub did. I'm looking to see both. I'm looking to see you probably improve on that, get a little closer to that 150, and I'm guessing Hades is probably going to be around there as well. But it can get dicey, right? Like, what is it? Hades
That
lost
smile on Nubs. There's something coming, man. Nubs got something in the back of your neck, bro.
He's
Look at
thinking
that.
of the neck move. He's thinking of the neck
Yeah,
move.
he knows that the numbers you just said there is way less
Only
or way
that?
more. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I just
everybody.
did a test run in the background, so I'm not saying anything there.
I can see it in your eyes there.
Yeah.
It was like 600 million.
Well, let's see. Like YST put up 52 million really without breaking a sweat. Just like Skratch put up he put up 146. Yeah, that was not even
It's
hard.
a lot of damage.
I know
man.
he's
I'm
swapping
scared.
out.
Yeah, it's
I
ridiculous.
know he's
isn't
swapping
it?
out 100 million damage Trunda there, but he's doing
But
it for
still,
Taras.
Supreme Gaelic
And
was there.
Taras did like 40 million for MTG. So I don't think it's going to be much of a damage drop off. So I think that fight's going to be really close and interesting. And then the Hades Nub side, I mean, Nubs, you did 111 million last time.
Yeah.
And we saw what Hades was doing with his Cupidus, right? I don't have a screenshot for his run yet, but he was pumping out some numbers there. So I'd imagine we're looking at, 150 million plus on either side of the board here. Should be pretty good. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I mean, Nub, you're actually competing. Both you and YSC
Yeah.
are competing. You guys probably have a better sense than me and Odd1.
Yeah, it's kind of funky. Like, I'm in that position where because I did more damage on my run because I was pushed to the limit by Odd1. But HellHades didn't end up doing, like, he basically canceled his early. So I'm feeling pretty confident. Like, I feel like he has to prove that he can do as much as I did there. Can he hit the, whatever was it, 110 million or something?
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of damage. So and his run ended way before that. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm feeling pretty confident. I ain't scared.
Nice.
I'm definitely scared, man.
Yeah, you should be scared.
Oh,
Though,
my
You
God.
should be. I would be scared if I were you. That's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. It's just, I don't know what to expect. What it is with the Taras, right? I'm just wondering, is he going to deal more damage than with the Trunda? Because he's banking on stealing my Marishka to make it crazy, right? For like the finals.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
think
interested
yes.
to know if you would. I don't know. I really don't know because in MTG's team, Taras did a crazy amount of damage, but it's not as much as the damage Trunda was doing, right? If I remember correctly.
Taras did 37 million for MTG. Trunda did 105 million.
This is what I'm saying, but that's if his team is built around the Trunda, is Taras gonna outperform her here? This is what I'm very interested to know because that's what I'm thinking. But if he doesn't do as much damage and he's underestimating my team, there could be an upset here. So I don't know. We have to wait and see, man.
I think you have to understand that Skratch's team is so strong, especially dropping the Trunda.
Yeah.
She's not gonna be, that's the weakest link, the squishiest link in there. With Taras coming there, not only is he tanky because he's HP based, but he has the buffs from Duchess, he has the buffs from Lydia in there. So he's gonna have lots of buffs to keep slamming down. And with the reset from Kaimar, I do believe he's gonna do some crazy numbers.
You think it'll be over the Trunda's damage, right?
Yeah, because I think the thing with the Trunda damage is it has to have the right setup to be able to do that A2, That one can do some crazy stuff, but when you go for the long runs, maybe if you're trying to go over the 200 plus million, which I'm expecting you guys to do, I feel like Taras is better for the long run, in my opinion.
By the way, Hades, Nubs, if you guys want to pay me something in PayPal, some money, I can actually not bring in Marishka, so he can't get the combo. So
Yo, dude, I'll give you my underpants. They're worth 300
Oh,
quid,
they're
apparently.
300 quid.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
money right there.
Oh,
my God.
What do you say, guys? Let us know in the comments. What's better, the pants or?
Fantastic.
Some-
That's
Fantastic.
obviously the pants. Obviously the pants.
100%. I was gonna
Oh,
ask for a cut of it just for organizing this. but
Well,
I
cut of
don't-
the pants.
I don't need a cut of the pants. I don't need a cut of the pants. You can have all that.
You can cut out whatever bit of the pants you want, Deadwood, and that's going to be your bit. And YSC will have to deal with whatever he gets left.
Oh my
Wow.
god! I'm gonna wear
But
like a
I think
blindfold.
I do think it's going to be safe to say that Taurus is going to do less damage than Trunda. Trunda did 105 million
Yeah, sure.
in half
I
the
don't
time
know
of MTG. He did it in half the time of
In
the
half the
MTG
time.
run. So like, there's a lot still to be taken off that plate. That said, I think Taurus is going to be obviously incredible damage dealer and do a lot of work, especially when Skratch can really build him up, to the nines. Could be really interesting to watch and see how that goes. But that
Like
is why I
Otto
think
said
this is
with
going to
the
be
buffs.
a very, very fun little fight between you two because, YST, you put together quite a good squad here. The interesting thing to see, this is, for me, this is the fun stuff, is like I always build my teams, protection heavy first, right? Which is why this was really educational for me. I hardly saw any ally protection champions, right? It literally Nick and Chris, the only ally protection champions I saw in this fight, I think. Right, there's like just not a lot of like, oh, I need these buffs to stay. Like that didn't seem to be much of an issue for a lot of the teams here, which just tells me a lot about Hydra, right? But what's interesting is, YC does have that on your squad, and I think that's a very interesting kind of approach, right? It's a very different style team, and I'm interested to see like how this fares, going on this next level, and also interested to see if you're picking anybody up from Cold Brew's team. Because obviously there's some champions there, Chris high among them. But Tila as well, right?
Yeah, I was thinking of Tila because 200 Rack's passive actually cleanses an extra debuff if you have continuous heals on your team. And that's what Tila does bring. So it could be a way to manipulate the true fear of my champions, maybe decrease attack from Head of Wrath and stuff like that. And it could have played out really well. The issue is she gonna outperform the damage of a Skrank? I'm not too sure, but she does place the Hex in her kit to help out Mishinaki. So I'm in that kind of like, if I do this switch and it messes up with me on stream and I can't get my heads back because Skrank is my form of damage to get them back if Mishinaki gets eaten, do I have enough damage there with Tila? I'm not too sure. I don't know. But I've got 24 hours to make up my decision to try it out. We'll see.
You do. You got a good 24 hours to kind of debate about it. I'm really interested to see what you do. And Nub, your team's pretty well stacked here. I'm curious. I was actually really impressed with the damage you did. I wasn't expecting that off the jump. And adding Nekmothar obviously is going to do a lot of help on that front too. Not just with the raw damage, but also making everybody else faster. Right? That's one of the big
Like
advantages.
Nekmo, I don't think he's going to do as much damage as Mother Cybele, but he brings the decreased attack, which fixes my biggest problem we saw in the run, which is Head of Wrath one-shotting my team. And then increased speed as well. Because a few of the other guys were, talking about hitting the turn limit and seeing that counter start to tick down. And I was like, I don't think I was anywhere near that in my run. Even though it was 55 minutes long, I think we were still quite a bit short. The increased speed, I think, will make a difference there.
And AoE leech. He brings you the AoE leach. You don't have
That's
to worry about
true.
Ugo doing A1 leeches.
That's a great
gonna
point.
help you
Yeah. That was a very stressful element of randomness, the Ugo leech.
Exactly.
I always find that to be the hardest thing with Mithrala is that there's no healing in her kit, right? So it's like you get these shields, you get these buffs, but there's no healing. And I'm always like, oh, where am I going to get my healing from? Having that leech, a nice little, not a bad little bonus there.
Not so bad.
Huge, yeah. That's why I use Snick Track because of the leech as well. So it's like, that's my healing right there. So
Snake Track is massive. He was on my list as well. Like if you hadn't picked him, when I got to my third pick, I don't remember when you picked him, but he was there on the list. I was gonna pick him.
I think he was my third pick. I could have potentially left him till last but if anyone else thought of him,
I definitely would have picked him up.
Well, okay, quick. We've been talking for a while. I don't want to keep you guys here too long. Quick show of hands. Let's predict the round 2. Who's going to win each matchup? So, who thinks between Skratch and YSC? Actually, just tell me who you pick on it. Skratch versus YSC. Nub, who are you picking?
I think I have to go with Skratch. If he brings the Trunda, now if he doesn't bring the Trunda, we'll see. But I'll go with Skratch.
He said he's not bringing Trunda, so It's going to be a Trunda for Taurus. It's going to be the swap he's making there.
I think I'll probably still go Skratch. I think just that gear level and stuff, but I'm not sure what the peak of YST's team's going to be. But I'll say Skratch.
Odd one.
Sorry, YST.
It might actually be balanced. Like the fight might be balanced, but I'm still gonna go with my fellow Skratch as well, because honestly, that's what I wanted. I wanted to, if I would have passed and got to the final, I wanted to be in the final with Skratch. That was my goal.
The Romanian Brotherhood is in strong
effect. Yep.
I can dig it. YST, what are you thinking? You gonna come out victorious, or you think Skratch is gonna take it?
Skratch is gonna take it. Being honest,
Unanimous.
I've done too much trash talk in all of these competitions, right? This is the one where I've actually been humble about everything, and I know what's coming. So at least at the end, no one can say, YST, you know what I mean? So, but I'm gonna try my best to put up my best damage yet. That's all I will say. Hopefully, because I've seen a lot of people in comments and in the live stream kind of trashing on my team, saying that, you can't even hit past 50 million. So to be able to show what I can actually pump out with this team is going to be satisfactory, I guess. It should be pretty cool.
YST. People are stupid. They seeded this thing.
Yeah.
They put MTG.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
You can't take them seriously. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm calling you out. The facts.
Okay.
But okay, subscribers.
And that was my career. How it ended in a moment. Okay. Well, let me do my best YST impersonation as I make my vote.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna be taking down Skratch. He can't hold the candle to my team. I'm clearly the best one there is. We're gonna come in. I'm bringing in my secret weapon, Gensin, and we're going to slay him. Yep. Can't hold the candle to my team. No,
You sound like you're from Australia.
I know. I heard it too.
Oh my God!
I need to work on
Foster's
it.
is coming out there.
All right. Other half of the bracket. So it looks like everybody's taking Skratch except for me. I got faith in you, YST. I think you're gonna pull out an upset on this one. I legitimately have some faith in you on this one. I think you have a real good chance to actually pull this out and beat Skratch despite his gear. On the other side of the bracket, though, Nub versus HellHades. YST, who are you taking in this one?
Man, I gotta be careful here because
Milo's a job.
What is your boss? What is your friend? What do you do?
HH Gaming, one of my closest friends. It's it's a lose-lose for me. I'm gonna say they're gonna hit exactly the same number at 140 million.
Get wow. Like, come on, bro. I don't play that kind of game. Make a call. Come on. Let's go. I need you to be all Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith on this.
Okay.
Give me something.
I think Nubs is going to win this one, being completely honest. The main reason being, if it wasn't for Necmofar, I would have probably leaned towards HellHades. I think he underplayed his team in the draft because of your team. Sorry, it went a bit too low with the 40 million.
Why is you're making all of the enemies right now? This is the worst case scenario for you.
I earned it.
Oh my God.
What I'm saying is, it's like the chat was kind of like, just auto it because it's. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to be honest here. I feel like he underplayed his team to his potential, right? So I think he's gonna go above 100 million. HellHades. I think Nubs will just be a bit more than what we've seen in the first one.
Gotcha.
Maybe about 140. Yeah.
Okay. Odd one. What are you taking? HellHades or Nub?
Well, for me, this one's not really tricky because HellHades is my OG. He's been to my wedding and all that.
Guys, this has nothing to do with the people. It's just the teams. It's just the teams. What is going on here?
Doesn't matter. It's about the job. It's about the future. No, I'm voting. I'm voting Nubs. I'm voting Nubs because I said from the beginning, whichever one of us loses has to get to the final. So Nubs, I want to see in the final. You gotta make it. Sorry, HH.
Nub's getting the edge here. Nub, what are you feeling?
Oh man, well I tell you, for me this is just really tricky. Really, no, it's not. I'm voting for me. I'm voting for me. Obviously, come on, let's go.
Oh,
This guy.
You got it.
That's what I'm talking about.
oh.
I love it. I love it. Get in there.
Do you know that right there is gonna get clipped the heck out of the second that
Yep.
if you lose to that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me.
As it
It's
should.
obvious.
As it should.
Hey.
Well, that's a tough one. I have to say, I do think you guys are probably very evenly matched. I am curious to see if Hades actually steals somebody from my team. I don't know that he is. I think he's been gone all weekend, so I doubt he's making any changes, which is unfortunate. I feel like he could,
that's a tricky thing, right? Yeah, finding the time.
He could take somebody good for my squad, but hey, that's not my business anymore. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and say. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Hades. I'm gonna bet on the Cupidus varietal and see if that works out. Well, somebody's got to vote for him, right? Since nobody else did. Nobody else here likes HellHades. Clearly, is what I heard.
That's
and
right.
so that's
right.
just some, you know.
I heard they said terrible.
He's still
Shouldn't have brought
my
him to the
friend
wedding.
at the very least.
Bad
Worst
Yeah.
boss ever.
Bad human being.
Calling
Like
the
bring
union.
gifts. Yeah. Yeah, terrible. Complaining about the food at the wedding. That's awful.
Exactly.
yeah.
Like too much of it. Like, come on. What is that the problem?
Nice. That was smooth. But yeah, I think this is gonna be really close. I'm actually really excited by it. I'll be rooting for you, Nubs, though. I hope you do pull it out. I think you know, it would be well deserved if you can get the W here. And yeah, that's it. So, okay, guys, any last words before we sign off for the day? Nope.
Actually, yeah,
Cool.
me and Nubs actually. Wait. Me and Nubs actually got a bet.
Out.
You guys, you know that me and Deadwood always do the bets, right? Me and Nubs actually put a bet out. So between me and Nubs, there's a little side thing going on at the moment where whoever gets the most damage out of me and Nubs have to do a forfeit. But you guys in the comments as well can let us know what would you like the forfeit to be. And don't make it too bad. I'm looking at on my video and your one, and I'll see what kind of funnest forfeit we could do, and it'd be cool.
I like it. Well, that's gonna be today's video, guys. Thanks all three of you for being here and taking the time to chat. Don't forget Monday, 21st, 3 p.m. UTC. That is 8 a.m. on the West Coast. That's for me. I'm waking up, recording this thing or streaming this is gonna be awful. But that's gonna be me.
Yeah.
The 11 o'clock if you're on the East Coast, so perfect for lunchtime. But it's gonna last a little while, so feel free to pop in, pop out, pop back in a little bit later. These aren't super fast, but they are super enjoyable, I think. So, and you definitely learn a lot, you know, looking at this stuff and talking. So that's what we're gonna be doing, guys. Anyways, thanks again, guys, for being here, for being a part of all this, and I will see you all tomorrow, guys.
Yep.
Next we meet on the Deadwood Jedi.